What's going on, everyone? So the Utah Jazz have made a move that could impact kind of the trade front and the trade market on several ways. So the Utah Jazz have just given Kyle Filipowski a 4-year, $12 million contract. They've used the last $3 million cap space in order to do that. This is the largest contract for a second-round pick in the last 2 years, according to Bobby Marks. The first-year salary is comparable to a player selected 22nd in the first round. So this obviously has implications because there was talks about, does Utah kind of try to, configure some stuff to maybe take on some salaries in order to, maybe stack some draft picks and put themselves in a position to kind of capitalize on that, right? They used this year's cap space to kind of give Lauri Markkanen a pay bump and then get him that new extension kicking off next season, and, are kind of trying to figure out, okay, which direction are we going? How are we going to do this? Obviously, Lauri Markkanen on a long-term contract kind of puts the clock on the Jazz, right? Because he's not 23 to where it's like, we could take, 3 years or so to kind of figure stuff out. No, there's this pressure now of like, hey, you got to start getting things done. You got to start putting the ball forward so that way, by the time you become a contender, Lauri Markkanen is irrelevant, right? Like, if he's 32 by the time you actually are in a position to have some success, you didn't maximize Lauri Markkanen, which was a concern, which is one of the reasons why I'm sure that they were looking and exploring various trades. They just didn't like the return. I don't think they're going to be able to trade Lauri Markkanen at least anytime soon, right? Because he had a limited market now at $18 million. And a lot of that was because teams knew that they were going to have to pay him $40+ million. And teams were very reluctant in trying to give up a bunch of assets for a guy that you're going to have to pay $40+ million for with the new CBA. And Lauri Markkanen, he's not a number one option. He's not a number two option. Maybe if your number one is just that great, right? You slot him around alongside like a healthy Giannis, right? Maybe he could do some. Probably closer to a third option, but he's being paid as if he's a first or second option, which is, a concern for players. So how many teams now at $40 million a year plus are going to be willing to go and trade a bunch of assets to go get Lauri Markkanen? So Utah may end up being stuck. Also, Lauri Markkanen, his injury history is not a good, hey, you're making $40 million to play 50 games a year, right? The most games he's ever played in his career is 68 games. Well, now, what does Utah look like, right? Do they start trying to go make pushes to go get quality pieces to kind of put around Lauri Markkanen? Do they kind of try to stack up on some things, maybe unload, a Colin Sexton, a Walker Kessler, Jordan Clarkson? Do they start kind of trying to clear the deck a little bit and maybe getting quality pieces that they like, or trying to clear off some salary and then, maybe recoup some assets and stuff, so that way next season they can kind of use what they have, wait for that star or whatever to become available, and then now they can kind of push their chips in to go get that guy? It's always a possibility. So could the Lakers, right? Because a lot of talks about Walker Kessler, right? The Knicks offered 2 firsts for Walker Kessler, but they were rejected. Is that because the Jazz aren't trading Walker Kessler? Is that because they want more than 2 firsts for Walker Kessler? Or is that the Knicks firsts, because not all firsts are created equal, right? The Knicks firsts are not as valuable as a team like the Lakers, who in 3 years may end up being a lottery team. Where the Knicks, they're incredibly young, they're incredibly talented, and they're going to be a very good team for the next probably 5 years, right? Danny Ainge is also on record saying that he believes the Lakers' assets are the best on the market, right? So could the Lakers maybe do something where they, hey, we'll take Colin Sexton in his contract. We'll give you D'Angelo Russell, and we'll give you a Cam Reddish or something like that. So now you just cleared off the money of Walker Kessler and of Colin Sexton long term. You just paid Filipowski, right? So you just paid Flip. You're going to need him at some point. Is he going to be a backup the next 4 years, or are you going to jump him into the starting unit, right? If I'm the Lakers, with this news, I'm at least gauging where is Utah's head at, right? Are you like, do you see, Flip as the guy of the future for you? Or are you looking at it as Walker Kessler, right? Or are you looking at both as like potential trade chips, right? Because you want some more experience, you want some more guys. Do you want a Rui Hachimura to slot alongside? Like, do you think Rui is a guy that is just better than what you currently have? Or do you want to unload salary, right? Because there's a big difference. What if they're like, hey, you know what? Rui, right? We could put Lauri at the 3, Rui at the 4. You got Flip at the 5, right? Hey, maybe we do something like, give up a Colin Sexton and stuff like that. Or maybe they're helping in a 3-team deal to where, Lakers are getting Jeremy Grant. And maybe they want a guy like Rui Hachimura and they're shipping somebody out to Portland, right? Like, again, if I'm Rob Pelinka, I'm gauging like, hey, where are you at right now, right? Like, Danny, what's going on? Like, you just paid Flip. Is he a guy that you look long term? Is he a guy that you're looking to sell at some point? So when he becomes trade eligible, maybe Lakers could get in on him. Or Walker Kessler, like, hey, do you want to clear some salary? Because Danny could go, hey, we want to get off of Colin Sexton's money. We just don't think he's a long-term piece here. We'd rather get some guys that make more sense, right? So we would value D'Lo's contract right now because he's expiring, right? So we could just swap, D'Lo for Sexton. Okay, well, we want Walker Kessler. Okay, well, we want some first. Okay, let's work that out, right? We'll take, again, you can kind of use the salary of like, hey, look, you're not winning a championship this year. Right? I mean, you have the same team you had last year and you guys were a lottery team, right? Like, you're not, unless some significant thing becomes available, but we could help you clear off some salary, right? We have some expiring contracts. That's some value. You love our picks, right? We'll remove the protection on the 27 first. We'll give you our 2029 first unprotected, and we'll take Colin Sexton. Right? And we'll give you D'Lo as an expiring contract. We'll give you, who do you want? Do you want Jackson Hayes? Do you want Cam Johnson? Or not Cam Johnson. Do you want Cam Reddish? Or do you want, Christian Wood? Which guy? Right? Especially if you're giving up Kessler, maybe you want a Hayes. Right? And maybe you could kind of capitalize on an opportunity for a team in Utah that kind of needs to pivot a different direction now. Right? Are they really just going to stay put? Are they really just going to keep all the guys that they have? Or do they look at it as like, no, we'd like to kind of, maybe clear the deck a little bit. We'd like to stack some assets for the future. And now your sales pitch to Danny Ainge is like, hey, now you got an expiring in D'Lo that you can flip. You have 2 of our firsts unprotected. You have all your firsts and everything else. Right, so now you have this treasure trove of assets, right? You have several tradable contracts, right? You still have guys like Jordan Clarkson that you could flip and sell and, John Collins and stuff like that, right? Maybe you work something out, right? Maybe you kind of, hey, Lakers need, if you're going to get rid of D'Lo, you need a replacement. Right? You need somebody that can come in and give you similar production. I think Colin Sexton can give you that similar production, but he's also more athletic. Right? Defensively, it's kind of a wash. Although Sexton, when he's engaged and he's focused defensively, he is better defensively. It's just getting him engaged and focused defensively. Big difference when you're playing alongside, a bad defensive team. And then you got guys like Jared Vanderbilt and Anthony Davis and, Max Christie and Gabe Vincent and all these guys, right? Like, so if the Lakers could do something where, they get a Sexton and a Walker Kessler and then still go get a Cam Johnson or a Jeremy Grant, now I think the Lakers are a contender because now you solved all your problems. Now you solved your center. You solved, for now in the future, you solved your 3-and-D wing, and you solved your athletic point guard. So now you got that athleticism. So you could go Sexton, Reeves, let's just say Jeremy Grant, LeBron, and AD. I just think that that's a much more balanced, versatile starting unit. And then you'd still have, Gabe Vincent. Well, Gabe Vincent would go out in the Jeremy Grant deal. So, but you'd still have Max Christie, Dalton Connect, Christian Wood if they let you keep Wood, right? Wood, and then you got Kessler, and you still have like Cam Reddish, and unless he goes out, right? Like you have some versatility there. I'd still like to maybe go get another guard, right? Maybe you bring in like a Markelle Fultz, right? Which, he's not ideal, but play some defense, initiate the offense. That's all you're kind of looking for, especially off the bench, right? If he's like your replacement for D'Lo, it's a little bit of a problem. But if he's just coming in as your backup, I think you're in good shape. So if I'm the Lakers, I'm at least inquiring and going like, hey, where are you at with Kessler? Right? Like, you just signed Flip. Is he really your backup for the next 4 years, or is he a guy that you see moving into the starting unit? Right? Maybe Utah's like, hey, we're not in a rush to trade him right now. We want to actually see this year. We want to take this year, kind of figure it out. Then fine. Then at least you know where the temperature's at. You can go and look elsewhere and try to, maybe go push harder for a Wendell Carter Jr. or something. But, maybe they're like, yeah, hey, look, we just signed Flip. We're looking to move Walker Kessler, but at the right price. Maybe you can figure out what that right price is and then kind of capitalize in that regard. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass the question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? Think Utah ends up just keeping both guys and makes the decision later on down the road, which is a very real possibility. Both guys are still very young. They don't have to necessarily rush it. Or do you think like, no, like, hey, if you're the Lakers, put some pressure on it? I think you at least inquire, right? Do your due diligence. Worst case is Utah just says, nah, we're really, right now, we're not interested in both of them. If we decide to trade one of them, you'll be the first one we call type thing, right? Like, to me, I'd be like, okay, that's fine. Let's go that route. Do you even want Walker Kessler? Do you want somebody that has a little more experience, like a Wendell Carter Jr. or, somebody that's more flexible? Again, however you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.